All right, can we call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Standing room only.
Yeah.
They're all here to talk to you.
Well, good evening and welcome to the regular October board meeting of the Greencastle School Board. First item on the agenda tonight is adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Givney.
Yep, I have two for you this evening. The first one is a leave request to add to personnel report part 2, and that was there for you on your right in front of your computer. And then the second one is a resolution to approve supplemental payments to a teacher in excess of the salary specified in our collective bargaining agreement.
And that would be new business H. No, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, can I get a motion to approve those adjustments?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public comments regarding agenda items tonight. Anyone have any comments about items on the agenda? Hearing none, moving on. Next item is recognitions. Mr. Givney.
Yep, Mr. Roberts.
Well, good evening. I'd like to introduce Bo Lee, a first grader at Ridgepath. He was nominated by Mrs. Ward, our school counselor, so I'd like to read what she wrote. I would like to nominate Bo Lee for Student of the Month. Bo has worked very hard and made great progress academically, socially, and behaviorally. I love seeing his face light up at the end of the day when he tells me he had a good day, and he gets to come play spot with me. He also gets a gummy bear or animal cookie, and loves to remind Dory, who's with us tonight, that she cannot have his treats. That she has her own. Bo is doing an amazing job, and we're so excited to see how much he grows this year. So, congratulations, Bo.
Yeah, and just for parents in attendance with their students a month, we have a Greencastle backdrop set up down the hall for photo opportunities. And you're more than welcome to stay and come back, or we understand if you need to get your student home, because it's a school night. Mr. McHugh?
I'd like to introduce you to Harper Deno. Harper is the first grader in Mrs. Hertenstein's class and is our student of the month for September. Mrs. Hertenstein writes, Harper is a hardworking student. She's always asking great questions and actively participates in class discussions. I am proud of her eagerness to learn. She consistently puts forth the best efforts to succeed academically. She is a student that I can depend on to help others and be respectful of everyone, and it's a pleasure to have Harper in my class.
So TZ's Student of the Month for October is Alia Puckett. She is a fifth grader in Mrs. Fite's class, or as we like to say, Mrs. Fajita's class, right? Let's call her Mrs. Fajita. So, and Mrs. Fite has written, Talia is a really sweet, kind-hearted girl. Talia always has a smile on her face and is a friend to everyone. I've caught her several times during recess, inviting new students or students who seem lonely or bored to play with her and her friends. Whenever another student needs help on their computer, she is the first to volunteer. tech support. I can always count on Tally to help me out as well. She is very polite and appropriate in answering the phone. She runs errands and gives me gentle reminders when I forget things, which is often. Tally is a gentle spirit and has a servant's heart, and that's why I selected her for our classroom student of the month.
Vicki, how are you?
Hello, this is Stormy Prue. She is our Greencastle Middle School Student of the Month for September. Mrs. Smith, her social studies teacher, nominated her initially and said that Stormy has studied really hard for her class, especially for her States and Capitals test, which earned her an awesome score. The other 8th grade teachers also shared that Stormy works hard in class and is always respectful to the staff and students. She is also a member of Mrs. Welliver's computer science class, and she had a hand in some of the Fab Lab products that you are going to see a little bit later. Here's our story.
Okay, so this is Violet Andrews, and she was nominated, you know who the nominated was? Yes, exactly. Our nurse, our school nurse, and our character ed trait was responsibility for the month. And so she wanted to nominate you for that because basically she's gotten to know you over the school year, and she said that you're very mature and responsible, that you are choosing to come to school even when you don't feel well, which that's probably why the nurse was nominating, correct? Does a great job in the school band and helps out at home as well. So, congratulations.
Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of meeting minutes from the September 26th regular meeting, the allowance of claims, the financial report, and personnel reports, parts 1 and 2, which are posted on the door and on the website. Mrs. Romer?
Yes, hello everyone.
Hello.
As usual, first in your finance package, you're going to see the payables for September 2022. There were 3 regular payables this month. We have 3 payroll months throughout the year. This is our second one. The first payroll was September 2nd, 2022. Total payroll of $432.93.85. And along with that payroll came the retirement and payroll taxes, total of $122,167.75. Second regular payroll, September 16th, 2022, total payroll $424,899.86. And payroll taxes and retirement on the 9/16 payroll, $119,977.89. And then the third and final payroll for September was dated September 30th, 2022, for total payroll of $441,997.67. And the payroll taxes and retirement for that payroll, $138,113.34. And then next in your package, you're going to see a list of prepays for the month of September, 9/1 through 9/30 of 2022. Nothing unusual on this list other than the third and final payment to Piney Engineering for the Deer Meadow and Ridpath HVAC project. And again, that was paid out of CARES money. And that's our final payment on there. Total prepays for the month of September 2022, $431,325.51. And this is where our packet starts to look a little different. This is when we migrated to our new software, so you'll see the reports are a little different. Hopefully you'll find them a little easier to read, and we'll hopefully make them even easier as time goes on once I figure everything out. So the next thing you're gonna see in your packet is going to be a list of claims dated today, October 24th, 2022. Did anyone have any questions about any on the list for the claims for tonight? No? Okay. Total for the claims dated October 24th, 2022, $303,259.25. And if you're ready to move on to the finance report? Yep, okay. Fund report, we've got an education fund, the end of September 2022, $2,930,572.59. And in operations, the end of September 30th, 2022, $1,429,398.89. If you go to the last page is number 10. You'll see the total for all funds is $95,074.42. Normally, I have a depository statement for you that we have listed out for outstanding checks, et cetera. We were not able to do that for this month. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that for you in November. During our migration, we had two of our banks, which I highlighted for you and made a note in there, that those totals did not migrate properly, okay? But what I will bring to your attention is there is a bank to fund balance report, which has the highlighted area on it. You'll see I highlighted $8,095,074.42. That tells us right there that our banks within the software are balancing with our fund report. That's a good thing. The problem that we're having is that the balances are incorrect at a couple of the banks, okay? Our overall funds are balancing with our fund report. So hopefully we'll get that figured out. The programmers are working on that, and I will have something a little bit more detailed for you in November. And then, let's see here, we've got a couple of fund transfers. We had the educational ops transfer, and then we had received some grant money for a supply chain. They had originally told us to deposit that into Fund 5900. We needed to deposit that into Fund 800, which is a school lunch account. So I had to do a fund transfer on that, and per State Board of Accounts, I have to disclose that to you, and you have to sign off on that. So that's why you'll see that there. Total fund transfers this month, $195,853.44. And then finally, we've got the expenditures for Bond 21 and Bond 2022. They're both on the same page. To date, at the end, as of today, total out of Bond 2021 expenditures, $8,977,43.39. And then Bond 2022, September, October were our first months where we made any payments out of that bond, and mainly it was just closing costs, things like that. Total out of Bond 2022, $60,972.63. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has anything.
I'll just say I do like the book.
Yes.
A little easier to read, yeah.
Much
yeah.
easier to read.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Okay, if no one has any questions, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yeah, make the motion.
Okay, a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is reports, and the first one being from Assistant Superintendent Dr. French.
Hi, good evening. Corey's pulling up a slide for the audience members, but you have a printout in front of you. I just wanted to show you just a couple of quick graphs. This is from our NWEA data from this fall. The first slide there is we're looking at math growth, and I know that I've showed you this report before, but this is our K-10 math. The purple bar is what they've actually grown. The orange diamond is what they were projected to grow. And this report runs from last fall to this fall. So you're really looking at the previous year's instruction. So we have some kindergarten students show up, and those are just our handful of TK students. So that's why there's kindergarten, because they actually had performance growth from last year. And so you can see just our quick glance at math K-10, grade levels that have met their benchmarks, and those who have not. And then if we look at the next slide, which is reading, this is the one that I'm really excited about and wanted to point out, where this is the first time that I've seen this in our data, where we have consistently met our projected growth. And I really attribute that to, we've really put all of our eggs in this basket of the science of reading and the work and the professional development that we're doing at the elementary level. And you can see that, that investment is actually paying off. So I'm really excited about that, and so are our administrators and teachers. The next graph is a little visually overstimulating, but it just provides a broad stroke kind of understanding of the actual achievement. So previous, we're looking at how students grew. This is where students are performing. So K-10, GCS is the purple bar, our national norm is the black bar. So if you look across, we're very closely performing right at the national average. And this is math, and then you'll flip to reading. You can see that we are performing at or above, in most cases, the national norms in reading. So very positive data. Really excited about the growth as we've made over this past academic year. And that includes the summer slide, which we all talk about when you're testing kids when you come back from summer. So that is from fall to fall, which includes that slide as well. So lots of good growth. Any questions from that?
No. That's great.
Yeah. Good news. It's good news all around.
Mhm.
And that's all I have for you.
All right.
Yeah, thank
Well, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Good news is always welcome.
Yeah.
All right, next is the superintendent report, Mr. Gibney.
Yeah, so for a portion of my report this month, obviously, we have the Fab Lab at the middle school, and we're excited to share, I've asked Mrs. Welliver and her students to share a little bit about kind of what they're learning and how they're using the Fab Lab, and so I'd like to turn it over to them at this time.
So, in addition to using the Fab Lab and explaining it, we utilize the ones at the studio, which is a part of the Fab Lab, to create a video.
Last week, Mrs. Welliver provided us with a problem of a cup not fitting into the cup holder of a car. We were told to follow directions given by Steve Olson. We used Fusion 360, which is a CAD software program, to solve the problem. CAD is a computer-aided design program. You can use CAD to 3D print things for everyday life. For instance, you can make plastic silverware, hooks to hang food things, doorstops, or even a pencil cup. Using 21st century technology, each of us had different experiences when working with CAD, and we learned lots of different lessons. This project had its ups and downs, but it helped me with problem solving and understanding CAD softwares. I had some troubles with putting my own measurements into the project, but I figured it out, and I have a cool cup.
The experience I had with CAD software wasn't too difficult. I had a few problems, but I was able to figure them out. Asking classmates for help and rewatching the video helped me figure out the problems. Other than a few problems, it was easy for me.
My experience with CAD software was pretty easy. I didn't have too many problems with it, but if I did, it was pretty easily solved by asking questions. Mrs. Welliver helped me with a few steps. Other than that, I was able to flow through the cup holder project pretty easily.
CAM is computer-aided design manufacturing. CAD is leading up to CAM, so by learning about CAD, we are going to start CAM pretty easily. We are able to use CAD to manufacture products, and that is where CAM comes in.
Overall, our experience with CAD was enjoyable and it went smoothly. Learning about CAD was a cool experience, and it was fun to build up to CAM. After we finish all of the CAD lessons, then we will get to experience the CAM journey. The printing process of the CAD lessons were fun to watch and see them slowly build up to something usable. Overall, we had a lot of fun working with CAD, and we can't wait to start camp.
Do you have any questions?
So if you didn't pick up on it, the problem is that one of the problems, or the product they created, is in a lot of vehicles, the large cups, the large tumblers don't fit in the cup holders. And so they were able to develop a prototype and 3D print a cup holder that fits into the smaller cup holder so that it would hold your travel mug. And so I actually received a customized Notre Dame cup holder from one of the students as well. So
Did I give you one for the board? Okay, so the board, we have one for you. The girls and boys made one for every member of the school board.
Thank you.
And they put it in a glass case and with construction, I have to think about that.
we'll get them out for you.
But so the kids are learning CAD, computer-aided design software programming, which is very, in their local factories, use similar programming. And they're going to then incorporate what they're designing in CAD into CAM, which is computer-aided manufacturing, which is what we need to understand to use our shop bot CNC router. So our kids are second to none high tech. And hopefully some students will develop those skills and then go on to pursue a career in a trade school and then a career in utilizing that kind of technology stuff. We just have a leg up against our fellow competitors in this grade, I think, having this technology. So.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Sky's the limit with, with an imagination and being able to do that. So that's pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah, that's great.
Very cool.
Thank you.
For sharing.
That it?
Yep, that's what I
Okay.
have for this month. Yep.
Okay, next item on the agenda is old business. There is no old business, so we are at new business. And the first item is an approval request for the 2022-23 collective bargaining agreement between Greencastle Community School Corporation and the Greencastle Classroom Teachers Association.
Yep, so, we reached an agreement, shortly after, collective bargaining started, and, just kind of highlights that we shared at the tentative agreement hearing. We're gonna be able to move, starting pay for bachelors from 40 to 42, and for masters from 42, masters to 43. I can't remember what, I think it's 42 now. But we're able to move the scale at the bottom and move the scale at the top. And we are going to be able to give teachers credit for their documented years of experience. So in the past, just when we've had years where there haven't been pay raises or it's been frozen or nothing added to the base, it's created an issue where we've had, for instance, a teacher with 10 years experience making multiple different salaries. And so we're able to make this one-time adjustment to give them credit for those to where they can stay at our teachers can stay at Greencastle and earn the income that they should. So we worked really hard to do that, and when we put our plan into place 2 years ago, and right-sizing our staffing and making some adjustments with our financials, on top of obviously the legislature providing an increase in funding that also helps, it made it possible to do this. So it'd be my recommendation that the board approve the CBA for 22-23.
I would make a motion to accept.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the collective bargaining agreement. Do I have any questions, comments?
Because it's a good thing.
Yes, very, very good.
To say,
Yeah.
as a representative from TCK, we would like to say thank you, Mr. Dooley, for working with us and helping to solve that equity issue, and we appreciate it, so thank you.
Good.
And we would also like to thank you for the effort put into this. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for some compensation adjustments. Classified employees, bus drivers, salaried employees, and administration.
Yeah, so as is the cases in most years, we like to, when we're adjusting compensation for teachers, we like to make the adjustment for our other employee classifications. And so, they're classified, salaried employees that are administrators, it's an 8% increase. With our classified hourly workers, it's anywhere from $2 to $3 an hour, increase. And then our bus drivers, it's an additional $15 per day for their route. So, again, our plan that we put into place, and with the adjustments and compensation for all of our employee groups, the board is investing, right around $1.6 million in our Greencastle staff. And I think that's an historic investment that we're making in our employees and our workforce, and keeping them here, and obviously we're going to continue to make Greencastle even better. And so I think that you all need to be recognized for that, and it would be my recommendation that the board approve the compensation adjustments for these other employee groups.
So, for instance, like a custodian coming to us with no experience, minimum is gonna make $15.50 starting out. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I think that's more competitive.
Yeah, that's the challenge, everybody adjusts, and then we haven't traditionally been able to make quite the adjustment, and so, now that we can afford to, we're going to.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we approve this as read.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or further questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for the adoption of the capital projects plan, school bus replacement plan, and the 2023 budget-related resolution.
Yeah, so this will finalize the budget, and all of those other items. We've met with the county council for our hearing, and they adopted our budget, I think, was it last week, Kelly? And so now it's time for our school board to finish off the process with the CPF plan, bus replacement plan, and then those budget-related resolutions.
Okay.
I think I get a motion to approve.
I will so move.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for a contract with S&P LLC, known as Wally's, with Greencastle High School Athletics for concessions. Mr. Goodwin.
Yep, so with the Booster Club stepping out of operating the concession stand, Mr. Greenlee has spent a lot of time looking for some help, because it truly does take a village to run a concession stand. And so he met with Wally's, and essentially what we'd like to try to do is give it a go for our winter athletics season, and kind of see how it goes from there, see if it could develop into a longer-term agreement, but rather than just, contracting for the spring season, also just doing a trial run for the winter.
So are they going to be the only concessions, or are you also have like the Key Club that does it on the side as well?
It's not the Key Club, but it's the junior class.
Oh,
The junior class will have theirs,
They'll have their concession.
yep, currently.
okay,
But rather than, without there being a Greencastle Boosters,
right.
we'll have a separate concession stand run by Wally's that will share, essentially as a part of the agreement, share profit
Okay,
back
cool.
with the athletic department.
Very cool. I was trying to see if we're gonna move completely out of it, or if we're gonna have share with it.
Yep.
Very nice, okay. So it appears that they're in charge of ordering everything, coming up with the employees, selling it, and then they give us a percentage back.
They just use our,
Facility.
essentially our
So they'll
facility.
take over one of the concession stands in Mackinac.
Correct. Yep.
There's potential for like tenderloins the size of your head and all that.
There's potential for meals, yes. Yeah, there's meals on down to just normal snacks and candy and water.
Okay. All right, let's see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
give it a shot.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
I will make a motion. One second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval of a request for SI Commercial Services LLC contracts.
Yeah, so, really kind of roughly for about the last, 2 years, we've been, battling, staff shortage and some vacant positions. And this one in particular with our custodial staff. We've had job fairs, we've advertised, and while we did bring in, some additional employees through that job fair that we had, at the beginning of September, we're still short. And so we want to make sure that we're able to continue to, meet the needs of all of our facilities and make sure that we're maintaining, a learning environment that's safe and productive and clean and orderly. And so in order to essentially kind of buy us more time to where we continue to look to recruit and hire new staff, we have talked with SI Commercial Services, and essentially what I'd like to do, or what I'm proposing to do, is to utilize their services at TZ in the evenings to clean TZ. So that's typically what we would take care of, but we're short some help, and we're short some help at all of our other buildings, and that would allow us to move those employees to help fill in the gaps at some of our other facilities. And it would also allow us to more fully clean back to what I would consider took place regularly before the staff shortage. And so this would get us through the end of the school year into May. And so be my recommendation that the board allow us to work with SI Commercial Services LLC. And then obviously we'll revisit or review once we get closer to May
Right.
to see if this develops into anything more long-term.
So right now, it's just basically a stopgap that we're utilizing to just kind of help out, and then we can hopefully gain the staff.
If we could gain the staff, or it could develop into
Or
a
just
longer-term arrangement, yeah. But this doesn't involve us, while we're bringing in contracted help, it doesn't involve, us, doing away with any of our own employees. It's meant to fill the
That
gaps.
would be the next question.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What do you think about this, Mrs. Rhodes? Mhm.
I think they really need to cut down the story. I mean, I know my custodians, the two that I have, is really good for blocks, and he's used to surveying, and with all the tile floors, it's supposed to be really hard.
Mhm.
Some of them I've just seen.
As a substitute custodian, I think it regularly takes 3 hours to thoroughly vacuum and 3 hours, just to vacuum.
So,
Because, I mean, to get it clean, one of the things.
I make a motion that we accept this and see how it goes.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is donations. We have one donation tonight from the Mary Allison Children's Trust to Greencastle Middle School in the amount of $2,810.12. Can I get a motion? to
I make a
approve?
motion that we accept that gladly, gladly.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of several Neola policies. Mr. Gibbon.
Yep, so, as is customary, when there are changes from legislation at the federal or even state level, and just 2 times a year, we receive updates, suggested updates to our board policy. And so essentially, in your packet, is a list of those recommended updates, and this is just for, first reading. So there's no action needed at tonight's meeting, and really most of them were a result of changes in law.
4 of them have to do with dress and grooming.
And we don't have dress and grooming policies,
Seemed like a lot.
so we don't take those updates.
Put on many policies.
What's that?
Put on many policies?
We don't have a board policy for dress and
I'm
grooming.
with you, gotcha, okay.
Okay, this really requires no action, doesn't it?
No, no action.
Does anyone have any questions on these, or?
No, not at this point.
Okay. And the final item on the agenda is the item Jeff added, the supplemental payments.
Yeah, that's a resolution to approve supplemental payments to our teachers in excess of the salary specified in the school corporation's compensation plan. Just with the way ERB regulates our collective bargaining agreements, this deals primarily with the one-time adjustment and shuffling staff members based on the multiple different levels of years of experience. Our CBA would be found to be not compliant if we attempted to do all of that through the CBA. So in this resolution and in the spreadsheet that you have in front of you, it shows each of the teachers that's a part of the collective bargaining agreement, and it shows the increase that will take place through the collective bargaining agreement, and then the increase that will take place through the supplemental payment. And so this will allow us to essentially make that one-time adjustment and be in compliance. So this matches what we completed during negotiations. This matches the full teacher increase that was discussed with the board as well.
Okay.
And we will see this next month.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Last item on the agenda, I believe, other business. Does anyone have any other business?
I was gonna ask our middle school principal how she felt parents adapted to the new drop-off.
There's this bluish gray car.
They're really troublesome.
I think it's helpful because we steered the kids out a different exit, so they're down at our old main entrance, so we kind of are forcing the cars to drive around. Morning seems to be okay, knock on wood. And the afternoon, the last couple days, it seems pretty much back to normal, so. It was an adjustment. Again, it also depends on the day. Some days everybody wants to bring their kids to school, so it's like, it's what takes forever.
Okay. I like that it went down to 1 lane on the drop-off in the morning. That first morning, I think some parents are confused, and they had 2 lanes and kids were walking across, and I was like, wow, okay. But it looks like it's calmed down. Good.
I was gonna ask about Dory, and I didn't get to, I don't know, she's not here.
Dory
anymore,
left.
but, yeah.
She's doing really well. I was at Rid Path on Friday and had donuts, before school with the teachers, and she didn't take any of the donuts. Although she wanted them, but Mr. Roberts might be able to share more about Dory.
She's been, this month, she's started attending Mrs. Ward's weekly lessons with students. This past week has been on whole body listening, which kind of talks about, you know, you don't just listen with your ears, you listen with your eyes, with your mind, with everything. And so Dory has been attending those lessons, and then, you know, students are very excited at the end, they get to greet her, and, she's very loved at Red Path.
That's awesome.
That's great. One other thing, well, last month, I think it was last month, we kind of discussed a little bit about changing the time of the meeting. And we all kind of thought we might talk about that, or think about it and discuss it later. Did we discuss that in public? You know, I guess we would have had to. The idea being, you know, there's several administrators that don't live, you know, 3 blocks away, and you know, people have to go home, go home, come back. So, you know, we thought about trying to move the meeting forward a little bit, maybe get people home a little bit earlier. If that's something that, I guess it'd be, you know, what people have interest in. I mean, it's all the same with me, but, you know, if we can get people home
Could go
a little
up
earlier.
a half hour, because we need to be cognizant of Ed's schedule as well.
And you're typically
Usually
not
6.
6.
Yeah, usually I'm done by 6.
Is starting the meeting at 6 too early for you?
No, I can just come straight here and throw my gear off and come in. I'm fine. I may have to stomp in here with my gear on, I don't know.
Just wear it.
Yeah.
Is that too early for patrons? Is that, I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, you know, I think if, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe
6:30?
6:30. Let's try 6:30.
6:30.
And then if that seems to, you know, I don't know. Yeah, we can do 6:30, but you know, if your kid's getting a recognition, I think you'll be here
yeah, I mean,
whenever you need to be. It's once. It's one night a month.
I'll show up whatever,
Yeah.
you know, plan a meeting for whatever time you tell me. I just
Um,
throw that out there.
I mean, just, what do you guys think? I mean, the people that would benefit from the drive, you know, is it something you, right?
Does
think
anybody,
our
does anybody
patrons
wanna
could
push
get
it
here.
back?
By 6?
Does anybody wanna push it back?
You better wanna go 8?
7:30? I mean, I'm fine with 6. I mean, if we think our, you know, our students of the month and the folks that we wanna recognize.
Well, you
can
know
get
what,
here.
let's go for 6 o'clock, and then if that starts to become a problem, we can adjust it again. That's-
We don't want to push you too tight, Ed.
Right,
I'll just stay
right.
in communication if I'm running behind. It's one day a month, so.
So we wanna begin in November.
Sure, yeah,
We have
let's,
to vote on that, don't we?
yeah, I think we need to vote on that, to change that.
I'll make a motion that we try for the remainder of the school year, 6 o'clock for our board meetings.
Well, you know, up through July, I'm almost at the top.
Until we reorganize. Okay?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to
Does that work for you?
start having the board meetings at 6 or PM instead of
I won't
7,
be here at 6 a.m., I promise that.
and starting in the November meeting.
Okay?
Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, yeah.
And a second?
No, second.
You already did that. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
We'll get that changed
All
to
right,
the
yeah.
to the banner. Make sure, you know, we'll get that changed on the website so people know.
Good enough.
Adjourn.
Okay, last item on the agenda is adjournment. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
All good.
Thank you,
Thanks,
and
everybody.
we will see you at 6 o'clock next month. Thanks.
Thank you.